rabbit pedigrees. What are they and why do you want them? That's what we're going to talk about today. So keep on watching. Hey there, I'm Leah, an online educator for rabbit enthusiasts and stay-at-home wives. If you like practical rabbitry management tips, then make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Alright, one thing I want to clear up really quick before we get too far into what a pedigree is. So often I see people say a rabbit has papers. That's not going to tell you a whole lot. Or people will assume that because it has a pedigree, that means it's registered. So I want you to sit anything you know about dog registry or what it is with dogs having a paper of some kind out of your mind, because it doesn't likely work the way you think. So if a rabbit has a pedigree, it does not mean that it's registered through anything. Pedigrees are written still by the honor system. And so while that is, honestly, it makes our life a whole lot easier, most people, for the most part, will keep it honest, but it can kind of run into some confusion, as well as, kind of just, you gotta hope that the pedigree is correct. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the reasons of how all that works this time. I'm actually going to post a video next week about that, so stick around for that video. But I want you to know why you probably would want pedigrees for your rabbits to have pedigrees. Now, if you are just planning on doing meat and you do not intend to sell rabbits for any other reason, maybe to other homesteaders who want to raise meat, you could probably do okay without that. However, I want you to think about something. I always want people to not be dependent on one income stream. I want you to diversify as many options as you can. And so I've said this in a few blog posts and different things, is that I want you to have as many income streams from one animal. So one outlet and many income streams. And so what if you decided to invest in a rabbit that was a little bit better quality so you could still sell them as show animals with a pedigree, and you can still use them as meat as well. So they're a much more valuable animal and you can get more income through different avenues, if that makes sense. So my animals are pedigreed and I still keep them as top quality as I possibly can as far as body type, but I still get a lot of pet buyers. So it's just a thing that you have more people who are willing to buy, but I also have a lot of showers and 4-H'ers who want that pedigree. So that opens up a much broader option for sales. All right, a pedigree creates legitimacy. So you have to just take someone's word for it if they say that it's a purebred. Now, like I said, they do run on the honor system, and so we're just going to leave it at that for now. But if without any paper or proof, there is no way for you to know that. If you have a pedigree with all of that information, you know that your animal, assuming it's correct, is purebred, but also you're going to be able to get some color ideas of what it's got behind it, how big the animals behind it were as far as the standard size and different things like that. And if you want to get into the show world, yes, you can show an animal without a pedigree, but any legs that it wins, possible, grand champion certificates, anything like that, without a pedigree, that it's not going to be able to win those awards, or those awards aren't going to count for anything. So that's just one of the reasons why it's going to be worth it in the long run. And the other part of it is a pedigree increases the value dramatically. That is the one big thing that is going to up what you're able to charge, even if you are just planning on doing meat. A Californian is going to be a good example. So it's a meat animal. You can find them as low as 10. This is going a little cheap, but even as low as $5 if you go to, say, like a fair or something like that where people are trying to get rid of them. Now, you can find them extremely cheap, or you can pay several hundred for a well-typed animal. By type, I mean conformation, that has a pedigree. So that's the difference between a pedigree or not. You could be making 3, 4, 5, or even 10 times as much if you have this little piece of paper. Or not little, but this valuable piece of paper, okay? All right, so I hope I've convinced you why a pedigree would be the wiser choice. A rabbit pedigree consists, at the very least, of minimum of 3 generations. So there's the animal being pedigreed, and then parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. Some will turn the paper long ways, and you can squeeze another generation on here. That is okay, but when you're getting that far back, some of those colors and different things are going to have a far less bearing on the possible babies that you might get. So whether you want to do that, that's completely up to you. And honestly, trying to fit that much information on one pedigree is going to be easier to do on a pedigree program. So I will talk about those in a second. But what is considered a full pedigree? So people will say that in a listing or something like that you might find on social media or Craigslist, things like that. A full pedigree, if someone says that, is considered, it has all of the animals on that pedigree have these 4 things. The ID number for the ear tattoo, the animal's name, the animal's color, and then their weight at a senior weight, or at the very least, the weight that they were bred. So here's an example of that one really quick. I have a buck currently that he's not senior weight yet, but he's already made babies. So I have to put a weight on his side of the pedigree. So right now he's weighing out at 11.5 pounds, but he is still, I think, 8 months. So he's going to be a lot bigger than the 11.5 pounds, but I need something. So you at least know that there is a weight for every single animal on that pedigree. So that is considered a full pedigree. Now, there is an option for the registration number. That has to be done through the ARBA. There is no way around that one. But to get that done, you must have a pedigree to do that. And then also the other identification number that can be on there is their Grand Champion certificate number, if they have won the qualifications for showing. Some programs will also put the color genetic code on there. You can see that as well sometimes. And then some will also put big winnings that the animal won or different things like that. There are certain breeds that are really heavy into that. Holland Lops are another one that they really love to see how many legs the animal got. But for breeds that have a hard time winning legs, that is usually the less popular breeds. Those are not as concerned. That the owners and different things are not as concerned about that. But it's not going to affect the validity of the pedigree, whether they're on there or not. All right, so how can you make a pedigree? All right, like I said, they are done on the honor system. So you have to be the one as the breeder to create them. You can't send away to ARBA or something like that and have them printed. It doesn't work like that. So at the very easiest one, this pedigree right here is a copy of an ARBA book pedigree. You can go onto their website and order a book for about $5. And so it's a thinner book of rabbit pedigrees that you can purchase and handwrite all of your pedigrees from that. So as you can see, it's very simple, but it's got all of the spaces for that information on there. So that's option number 1. You are able to create a template of your own in some kind of editing program that you might have access to. So, but just be advised that you must have all of the information on these pedigrees that I'm showing you. So the ear number, the weight, the owner, the breeder information on there. That is what people want to see. They want to see, where did this animal come from? What lines are behind it? So any of these that you see me putting up here, you are welcome to use them as a guide for a template for you to be able to make your own kind of template if you want. However, I am going to have a template for you to be able to download and put into whatever program you have and you would like to do, or you're welcome to print it out and handwrite them yourself. All right, and this pedigree is something that was printed out of my own rabbit registrar from Evans. They have a program for all kinds of different animals now, but when I first started, they were just for rabbits and cavies, or in other words, guinea pigs. So this was my very early on investment that I decided to make. It's about $89 to buy the deluxe version, or they have a standard version for $69. Totally 100% worth the investment, and you can find that program linked below. 1 or 2 animals, if you're not getting very much, 1 or 2 animal sales will pay for this, and it's very, very easy to use. You click both parents, create the pedigree, and print it out. You're done. After handwriting about 2 litters of my large French lab litters, when I first got started, I was on the hunt for a pedigree program. So personally, I do think the pedigree program does create a next level of legitimacy. You don't have to. Like I said, you can handwrite them, and maybe if you only do 1 or 2 litters a year, you probably don't have to invest in that. However, I think it's worth it. Honestly, I think it's worth it. The other option is Hutch, and if you haven't heard of it, it's becoming popular. But if you want to create pedigrees through that, honestly, I think buying a pedigree program is going to save you more in the long run because of the pricing, and I have listed their prices below as well if you want to look into it and give it a try. However, they limit how many breeding animals you have. So they do start for as low as $4 a month, but you can only have up to 5 breeding animals listed. So in other words, up to 5 parents or animals you are keeping listed in that program. So, there are different levels, but you can pay up to $16 a month. But in a year, you will have, or 10 months even, you'll be able to buy a pedigree program, pay once, and you're done. So that's just worth it to me. All right, I hope that was helpful for you to give you at least an idea of what rabbit pedigrees are, what they're supposed to do, or what information people want to see on those. All right, don't forget to grab your pedigree template below, and I will see you in the next video.